Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. It's a true privilege to stand before a room full of thinkers, dreamers, educators, and innovators. I want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that you chose to be here not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, because that's what it takes to learn something new, to expand, to grow. Now, let me begin with a simple yet powerful statement. Curiosity is the key that unlocks the door to innovation and breakthrough ideas. This isn't just a poetic phrase, it's a fundamental truth that echoes through every major advancement in human history. And today I want to take you on a journey that starts with a question, dives into the heart of learning, and emerges with a vision for how education, when fueled by curiosity, becomes the most powerful engine for innovation. Curiosity, the first spark. Let's start with curiosity itself. What is curiosity? At its core, curiosity is the desire to know more. It's that itch in the back of your mind that whispers, what if? It's the voice that says, I wonder why. And in that moment of wondering, of questioning, we begin to open ourselves to possibility. When a child asks, why is the sky blue? Or how does a bird fly? They are not being silly. They are exhibiting the very essence of human progress. Because behind every scientific discovery, every artistic masterpiece, every technological revolution, was a person who asked a question. Curiosity doesn't discriminate, it lives in every human being, but it needs nurturing. Too often, education becomes about memorization, about getting the right answer on the test. But education at its heart is not about answers. It's about questions. It's about daring to ask what is and then exploring what could be. Think about the difference between someone who is taught to memorize a formula and someone who is encouraged to understand why that formula matters. One learns temporarily, the other is transformed permanently. Education that inspires, not instructs. So what does it mean to have an education system or a learning environment that prioritizes curiosity over compliance? It means we shift our focus from teaching people what to think to teaching them how to think. It means we stop penalizing mistakes and instead reward exploration. Let's take a look at innovators like Thomas Edison. You've probably heard the story. Edison failed thousands of times before creating a working light bulb. But that's not the most impressive part. What's truly remarkable is that he kept going. He didn't see those failures as defeat, he saw them as data. He asked, what went wrong and how can I try again? That's curiosity in action. Now imagine a classroom where failure is not a punishment but a path, where wrong answers aren't ridiculed but celebrated as signs of bravery. Because in those wrong answers lie the seeds of deeper understanding. Curiosity encourages experimentation. It teaches us to try new things not because we know they will work, but because we want to find out. From curiosity to innovation. Now let's talk about innovation. Innovation doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not a lightning bolt from the heavens. It's the result of persistent curiosity combined with purposeful learning. Innovation is what happens when someone sees a problem and instead of accepting it, they say, there has to be a better way. Let me give you a real-world example, the story of the Wright brothers. Orville and Wilbur Wright were not engineers. They didn't have advanced degrees. What they had was an unrelenting curiosity about human flight. They studied birds, built prototypes, failed hundreds of times, and eventually made history. Their success wasn't born in a laboratory, it was born in a bicycle shop. That's the power of curiosity. It doesn't require prestige or permission. It only requires passion. So the next time you think, I'm not smart enough or I don't have the right credentials, remember, innovation is not reserved for the elite. It is driven by those who are curious enough to explore the unknown. The role of educators and leaders. As educators, leaders, and lifelong learners, we have a duty not to provide all the answers, but to help others ask better questions. It's not about lecturing, it's about listening, not about giving directions. It's about inspiring discovery. We need to model curiosity ourselves. If you're a teacher, ask questions you don't know the answers to. Let your students watch you think out loud. Let them see you wrestle with uncertainty. That's what authentic learning looks like. Leaders in the workplace, too, must foster cultures of curiosity. You want a team that's innovative? Then you need a team that feels safe asking, why do we do it this way? And what if we tried something different? The best leaders don't have all the answers. They build environments where questions are welcome and, even more importantly, acted upon. The relationship between curiosity and empathy. There's another dimension to this conversation that we often overlook. Curiosity isn't just intellectual, it's emotional. When you're curious about someone's story, when you ask about their experience, their beliefs, their culture, you begin to understand them. Curiosity leads to empathy, and empathy leads to connection. In a world where division and misunderstanding are rampant, curiosity becomes a bridge. It allows us to say, "Tell me more." It allows us to suspend judgment and engage in genuine dialogue. So whether you're in a classroom, a boardroom, or a living room, ask questions that deepen connection, not just expand knowledge. Making curiosity a daily practice. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you learned something completely new? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Make curiosity a habit. Read a book outside your field. Attend a workshop that has nothing to do with your job. Talk to someone with a completely different background. Curiosity is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the more innovative, resilient, and compassionate you become. Imagine a society where curiosity is embedded in every institution, where schools are playgrounds of imagination, where companies reward exploration, where leaders encourage questioning. That's the kind of future we can build together. In conclusion, I'll leave you with this. Curiosity is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It is the fuel that drives learning, the spark that ignites innovation, and the glue that binds us together as human beings. So the next time you find yourself unsure, confused, or simply bored, ask a question, and let that question take you somewhere new. Because the world doesn't need more people who know all the answers. It needs more people brave enough to ask the right questions. Thank you so much for your time today. Stay curious, stay inspired, and never stop exploring.